It's Thursday. You're now with me, Douglas Elliott, for Tvs Nightline. These are the headlines for tonight. The Malaysian Olympic contingent will not be wearing the redesigned attire at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games opening ceremony, says Sports Minister Hannah Yeoh. Putrajaya allocate 3.6 billion ringgit for the continued diesel subsidies in Sarawak, Sabah and Federal Territory of Labuan. And Sarawak and Brunei look forward to further strengthening their bilateral relations. Good evening. Following public flack and criticism, Youth and Sports Minister Hannah Yeoh today said the Malaysian Olympic contingent will not be wearing the redesigned attire at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games opening ceremony on July 26. She said there is another set of official attire for the event and called upon everyone to respect the Olympic Council of Malaysia (OCM) and their sponsorship contract with Yonex.
She also insisted that there was no need for Deputy Chef de Mission, CDM, Dato' Nicole Ann David, to replace Dato' Hamidin Muhammad Amin as CDM, as the latter is a person of caliber in his leadership. Recently, the Olympic Council of Malaysia unveiled the redesigned Malaysian contingent's official attire for the Paris Olympic, which has received strong public criticism, with many calling it ugly and uninspiring.
The federal government has set aside 3.6 billion ringgit for diesel subsidies in Sarawak, Sabah and the Federal Territory of Labuan. Minister of Domestic Trade and Cost of Living, Dato' Armizan Muhammad Ali, said the government has taken into account several considerations to provide continued assistance, chief among which is the price disparity of essential goods between West and East Malaysia.
Dan berbeza dengan Semenanjung Malaysia, kalau kita lihat di bawah kerajaan pada hari ini, kita juga memberikan subsidi beras import, beras putih import kepada Sabah dan Sarawak, mengambil kira kekangan ataupun sumber yang terhad di Sabah, Sarawak dan Labuan, maka diberikan subsidi untuk beras putih import bagi Sabah, Sarawak dan Labuan, dan bermula pada Oktober tahun lalu. Untuk 3 bulan pertama pelaksanaan saja, peruntukan yang disalurkan adalah sebanyak 92.84 juta dan dianggarkan, program ini telah diteruskan untuk tahun 2024, dianggarkan peruntukannya akan mencecah sehingga 500 juta ringgit.
Armizan said this in response to a query by Tawau Member of Parliament Law Sui Fui regarding the government's plan to standardise the prices of goods involving Peninsular Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak. The government recently announced that under the Diesel Subsidy Rationalisation Initiative, diesel will be sold at RM3.35 per litre at petrol stations throughout Peninsular Malaysia, effective June 10th, with a retail price to be set weekly. However, the price of fuel remains unchanged in Sabah and Sarawak.
Now, Sarawak and Brunei Darussalam are both looking forward to extending their long-standing bilateral relations. Brunei's Second Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dato' Sri Setia Erawan Muhammad Yusof, said that talks are ongoing to discuss ways that both parties can grow together, both economically and socially, amidst the global economic uncertainties.
In general, it is to enhance our economic cooperation, our people-to-people relations, cross-border relationship, and how to build up in the face of this uncertain world, how we can be closer together to be prepared for future uncertainties. This is our long-standing relationship between Brunei and Sarawak. Brunei and Malaysia is also, Brunei is bilateral with Malaysia, is very close, but Brunei and Sarawak is a neighbour, so I think we extend that close friendship with Sarawak.
Erawan told this to reporters after paying a courtesy visit to the Premier Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg on Thursday. Erwan also added that the visit also marked the 40th anniversary of Sarawak-Brunei diplomatic relations. Previously, Head of State Tun Pehin Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar visited the Sultanate as his first official visit since he was appointed as the 8th Governor of Sarawak. During the second day of his visit, Tun Dr. Wan Junaidi also met His Majesty Sultan Haji Hassan Al-Bolkiah Muizzaddin Wa'adullah Ibni Al-Mahum Sultan Haji Omar Ali Shafuddin Sa'adul Khairi Wa'diin at Istana Nurul Iman.
Talent Recruitment and Career Opportunities TRACE 2024 could be a platform for students, graduates and job seekers to explore employment opportunities while paving the way for future career growth. Deputy Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Amar Awang Tengah Ali Hassan, through a text speech read by State Deputy Minister of Urban Development, Land Administration and Environment, Dato' Len Talif Saleh, at the launching of TRACE 2024 said the event will bridge the gap between employers and employees through an interactive platform.
TRACE 2024 is a platform for students, graduates and job seekers to explore job opportunities, forge connection and to pave the way for future career growth. This event also provides many opportunity for them to engage with recruiter and industry leaders for meaningful conversion and seize opportunity to showcase the skill, ambitions and readiness to embrace new challenges.
Commenting further, he said the Sarawak government is committed to foster a skilled, competitive and resilient workforce. That commitment, he added, includes strategic partnerships with industries and stakeholders to fulfill current and future job requirements in Sarawak.
Narrow lanes with open drainage pose a safety risk to more than 300 students at SJKC Ukdaik in Cebu. Bukit Asek Assemblyman Joseph Chiang stated that to address the issue, the drainage system in front of the school will be upgraded to a covered drain costing 282,000 ringgit.
The project, which involves the construction of 160-meter long and 1.2-meter wide covered drain, is scheduled to be fully completed within 4 months.
Because it's quite dangerous. If you come here, during after school's time, right, when parents come and pick up, basically it's a mess here. The car coming from here and from there, the children running from across the road and so on. Very dangerous. So I want them to hold all over under the covered drain, waiting there safely. So parents can come, you just come down.
He was met by reporters after visiting the project site in front of SJKC UK Dai on Thursday. However, Chiang informed that during the implementation of the project, the road in front of the school will be closed temporarily to vehicles and will only be opened according to the set schedule. Meanwhile, SJKC UK Dai headmaster Wong Q Siang said he was very pleased and happy with the approval of the project. The approval will allow the school to improve the safety aspects for its students.
To equip students with the knowledge and skills that comes with the digital age, Education Minister Fadlina Sidek said that the Ministry of Education MOE has implemented various initiatives to address the technology boom, which is transforming the landscape of human capital development. Among the initiatives taken is the Digital Education Policy DPD, with the objective to produce digitally literate students with integrity and ethics.
Similarly, Fadlina states that MOE is actively implementing preparations for the education reform agenda, driven by 6 key directions, which include digital education, empowerment of the science, technology, engineering and mathematics STEM curriculum, technical and vocational education and training TVET program, among others. She said all these efforts are implemented with the aspiration of building a future generation based on the principles of humane education. She said the education agenda is not simply or solely focused on the aspect of academic excellence, but the infrastructure and facilities of educational institutions should also be comprehensive.
The Ministry of Natural Resources and Environmental Sustainability will enforce the amendments to the Environmental Quality Act 1974, Act 127, imposing stiffer penalties on those involved in the illegal importation of electronic waste or e-waste. Its Minister Nik Nazmi Nik Ahmad announced that the amendments, effective July 7, will enforce a maximum fine of up to 10 million ringgit for violations under the Act.
He said increasing the fines from the previous 500,000 ringgit is intended to deter any importation, smuggling and placement of scheduled e-waste, whether it enters the country by land, sea or transit without approval from the Department of Environment.
Pindaan itu telah pun diluluskan di peringkat Dewan Rakyat dan dalam proses pewartaan, dan saya pun telah tanda tangan untuk tarikh penguatkuasaan dia bermula Julai, 7 Julai. So selepas ini dia punya denda lebih tinggi dan dia ada penjara, ada mandatory dan sebagainya lah. Denda sampai 10 juta, sekarang 500,000.
The Environmental Quality Amendment Bill 2023 passed by Parliament on March 25th includes amendments to 28 sections of Act 127. These amendments enhance penalties with a minimum fine of not less than 5,000 ringgit, a maximum fine of up to 10 million ringgit, and mandatory imprisonment of up to 5 years. They also entail setting a maximum fine of 10 million ringgit for offences related to water pollution, oil waste pollution, and the disposal of scheduled waste in Malaysian waters, as well as illegal disposal of scheduled waste. Furthermore, mandatory imprisonment of up to 5 years will be imposed for offences involving the illegal disposal of scheduled waste, water pollution, and non-compliance with Environmental Impact Assessment (EIA) report requirements.
Welcome back. With an expected 10,000 daily visitors to the Rainforest World Music Festival RWMF 2024, Kuching Police will mobilize more than 400 security personnel to maintain safety and security of festival goers throughout the 3-day event, which begins tomorrow until Sunday, June 30th. Kuching Police Chief ACP Ashman Baja said the enforcement team comprised of police officers from Kuching District Police Headquarters, People's Volunteer Corps (RELA), as well as the Sarawak Security and Enforcement Unit (UPKS). To avoid any untoward incidents and disorderly conduct, Ashman called upon the public to cooperate and follow any instructions from the police. Additionally, the festival area has also been designated as a no-fly zone during the event, and that flying drones is strictly prohibited without approval or a permit. The tightened measures are in place following the confirmed attendance by the Sultan of Selangor Sultan Sarafuddin Idris Shah and the Sultan of Perak Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah, as well as foreign dignitaries. Sarawak's environmental sustainability policy is on the right track, but more needs to be inclusive. According to the president of Sarawak Eco Warriors, Mark Liao, a more inclusive environmental sustainability policy helps craft solutions that are comprehensive and sustainable. This, he said, can be achieved by involving diverse groups from various backgrounds and cultures in policy development.
When we talk about inclusivity, then it's important that we consider that there are many different types of people. People from different backgrounds, from different cultures. People, especially when we look into youth, many of them focus on different topics, on different educational backgrounds, for example. And all these thoughts, all these experiences matter, because when you take people from different backgrounds and put them together, then we will be able to see a bigger picture, and the solutions that we make will be more holistic and more inclusive, and they will be more sustainable.
He was speaking to TVS reporter at the Rainforest Youth Summit, RACE 2024, held at the Borneo Cultures Museum, BCM, today. Mark also emphasized the need for a greater youth involvement in policy development and governance, advocating for the expanded participation. Echoing his thoughts, the head of conservation at WWF Malaysia Sarawak Conservation Program, Cynthia Chin, noted that involving the younger generation in environmental policy development allows them to actively shape a sustainable future. She further added that the Rainforest Youth Summit is an excellent initiative by the Sarawak government to provide a platform for youth to contribute ideas towards solving regional issues.
All these different young people are coming with different ideas, different issues and topics they want to talk about, and they're all asking this question: how can they work with their local government, with their respective governments? How can they move forward to basically make a better world for themselves?
The Rainforest Youth Summit, held from June 26th to 28th, sees over 1,000 participants from 10 ASEAN countries. The program brought together young people, experts, public and private sectors, and civil society from around the world to jointly set an agenda for building a sustainable future for all.
5 musicians from various groups have united in an Avengers-style collaboration in the realm of traditional music to inject a rich vibrancy to this year's edition of Rainforest World Music Festival. Calling themselves the Borneo Collective, traditional instruments are infused with a contemporary modern touch set to entertain both local and international visitors alike.
Winning Peter Paris, a player of a traditional Lun Bawang instrument called tapi, explained that the group's concept is to showcase the evolution of traditional musical instruments from Borneo.
So menangga tema Rainforest World Music Festival this year, yang pun tema evolution. Jadi Borneo Collective tu nya evolution daripada alat muzik tradisional kita ataupun di bawah family Borneo Botdut Lao, daripada 2 string sampai ke 6 string. So genre memadah genre muzik kita is memang kita dari berbagai jenis tune yang kita boleh keluarkan, macam saya tapi 2 string tu. Tapi bila digabungkan dengan diiringi oleh band yang mengiringi kami orang lah. So actually kami kekalkan yang pun tradisi, the original tune-nya yang kita ada, tetapi diiringi dengan music contemporary dan modern. So yang mungkin dapat menarik pelancong luar untuk mengenali kita pun alat muzik lah. And lebih-lebih lagi nya string instrument kan, tapi itu dengan sapek tu pula.
Their debut performance at RWMF 2024 is significant for traditional musicians as it introduced the new generation to the uniqueness of Sarawak's traditional instruments.
Secara personal lah, peluang bersama dengan Borneo Collective, tu kenal sudah semua tu. And kami orang pemuzik is more dekat kepada environment and nature. And salah satu tune lah yang kan kami orang sama-sama mainkan dekat pentas tu lah, Rainforest this year. Untuk kita tunggu ialah Pulung Tau. It's our forest. Maksudnya our forest. So lagu yang menggalakkan orang untuk memelihara ciptaan yang ada lah. Our forest especially. Ya, so sangat bermakna lah untuk Borneo Collective bawa mesej tentang alam semula jadi juga.
Meanwhile, Jerry Comet, a member of the legendary group Tuku Kami, stated that differences within the group do not hinder unity in their creative process and training sessions.
Walaupun kami jarang berjumpa, kami masing-masing minta lah, macam kami akan minta audio, MP3, macam ni bunyi lagu kita. And then kami akan melalui proses memilih lah, memilih mungkinnya sigi grupnya minta 4 lagu, kami hantar 2-3 lagu. So kami akan pilih lah which is the best from each group. Karena Borneo Kolektif tu adalah kami anggap ada yang star untuk seorang diri individu. Yang star adalah semua the whole group ya. And then teamwork, kerjasama kami orang lah yang penting.
Untuk Rainforest World Music Festival yang ke-27 tahun ini, pada tahun ini, jadi datang beramai-ramai kerana kita akan membawa satu kelainan selari dengan tema ada evolution untuk tahun ini. So, datang ramai-ramai.
Okey, jangan lupa kita orang datang ajaklah, saksikan sendiri. Macam ni kami pun Borneo Kolektif pun show dengan gayanya tersendirilah, dengan keunikannya tersendiri. So, jangan si datang, rugi mesti datanglah.
This year's RWMF lineup features renowned artists such as Kitaro, Dato' Zainal Abidin, Borneo Collective, and more.
In global front, at least 435 people were killed and 1,800 others injured as a result of Israel attacks on Lebanon since October 8th. The Lebanese Health Ministry said 44% of injuries were caused by trauma, 35% by explosives, while 16% were caused by chemical weapons.
The ministry said 95% of the injured were Lebanese nationals, but it did not specify the nationalities of the remaining victims. Lebanon accused Israel of using white phosphorus bombs in attacks on the nation's southern region. The ministry said Israel's attacks have displaced at least 92,228 people since October 8. Tensions have risen along the Lebanon-Israel border every day since Tel Aviv continued its assault on West Gaza, which killed nearly 38,000 people since October.
Over in the United States, Joe Biden and Donald Trump square off for a historic U.S. presidential debate on Thursday, with a stage set for what could be an inflection point in the 2024 race as millions of voters tune into the clash of rivals. The showdown fires the starting gun on what promises to be a summer of campaigning in a deeply polarized and tense United States, still convulsed over the chaos and violence that accompanied the 2020 election.
With only 2 debates this election cycle, Thursday's high-stakes event takes on heightened significance. Both candidates have stepped up their personal attacks, with national polls showing the pair neck and neck. As candidates applied finishing touches to their debate strategy, one critical question remained. Will Trump, the political pugilist, rein his aggressive tendencies or unleash his unruliness, much as he did in their first chaotic debate 4 years ago?
But we're willing to do it Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, or Friday night on national television. We're ready. Just tell me where. We'll do it at the White House. That would be very comfortable, actually. But you tell me where. But we're ready.
Biden was pulling no punches on Wednesday, at least on social media, where he said Donald Trump is the greatest threat to our democracy, a message he'll most certainly seek to hammer home on debate night.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
Trump enjoys a slight advantage in the all-important swing states, but the overall polling looks extremely close in an election likely to be decided by a few photo finishes in a handful of battlegrounds. The latest Quinnipiac University poll conducted Sunday shows Trump edging ahead of Biden nationally, 49% to 45%. The rivals both step on stage for the 90-minute debate, seeking to allay fears about serious political liabilities. 81-year-old Biden faces the most concern about his mental sharpness, with voters much more likely to bring up his age than Trump's, despite the Republican being just 3 years younger. Trump, meanwhile, is engulfed in controversy over his inflammatory rhetoric, his recent conviction on 34 counts of falsifying business records, not to mention other criminal cases he faces, and fears he would weaponize the presidency to settle personal scores.
NATO on Wednesday selected Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte as its next leader. Known for his critical stance against Russian President Vladimir Putin and a strong supporter of Ukraine, Rutte has honed his political skills for over 14 years as the Dutch Prime Minister. Rutte's appointment came after his main rival for the post, Romanian President Klaus Iohannis, announced last week that he had quit the race.
Rutte will take over on October 1st from Jens Stoltenberg of Norway, who is stepping down after a decade in the post. Ambassadors from the alliance's 32 members took the decision at a meeting at NATO headquarters in Brussels. Rutte has been a pivotal figure in rallying Europe's military backing for Ukraine following Russia's invasion in 2022. He has consistently emphasized that a military defeat for Moscow is crucial to achieving lasting peace in Europe. The seasoned Dutch leader, whose 14-year tenure leading to Netherlands is set to end within weeks, is seen as a safe pair of hands capable of stewarding NATO through perilous times. His appointment was welcomed by leaders across the 75-year-old alliance, including British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and Germany's Chancellor Olaf Scholz. While the 57-year-old faces the possibility of a possible return by former US President Donald Trump to the White House, who has long criticized the alliance, Rutte will also have to grapple with the threat posed by the Russian leader Vladimir Putin.
See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally. For more headlines anytime, head on over to our website at tvsarawak.my and follow us on our social media. And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Douglas Elliott. Thank you for watching and have a good night.